You're listening to the audio production of The 360-Degree Leader, Developing Your Influence from Anywhere in the Organization, by John C. Maxwell, published by HarperCollins Leadership and read by Henry O. Arnold. New introduction read by the author.
Hi, John Maxwell here. I'd like to talk to you for a couple of minutes about my book, The 360-Degree Leader. Let me tell you a kind of behind-the-scenes story on this book. You may not know this, but when an author such as myself write a book and hand in the manuscript, really the publisher has the top priority as far as choosing the title. And so it's certainly fine with them if I come in with a title of the book that I'm proposing, but they sometimes will put a different title out, and then we try to figure out which title is the better of the two. And the publisher has the last word. So a lot of times I lose what I wanted to entitle the book on, and The 360-Degree Leader is one of those books. In fact, what's so funny about this is I loved my title so much that when I went into the meeting with my publisher, I said to them, I know that we don't always choose my title, but this one we will because it's so good. I was so confident. And so I threw out that. They said, well, what is it if it's so good? I said, well, I love this title. I just think it'll really work. The title I wanted to call The 360-Degree Leader was Follow Me, I'm Right Behind You. And I just loved the title. And they liked it. And in fact, they gave me a little polite applause. And I said, oh, that's really, really good. And then they started bantering around the table what they thought the title should be. And, of course, it ended up being The 360-Degree Leader. Now, you got to understand, what is that, 20 years ago? I still think Follow Me, I'm Right Behind You is a great title for a book. But 360 had a much more of a marketable aspect to it, and so I like the title a lot, in fact. But that's kind of a behind the scene. When you pick up The 360-Degree Leader, remember, if I'd have had my way, it would have been Follow Me, I'm Right Behind You. And so you got I pulled the curtains back just a little bit on that. But the reason I wrote the book is because I would teach leadership and at conferences, and people come up to me and say, John, I love your leadership teaching, love your principles, but I got a problem. What's the problem? Well, I'm not the leader in my organization. I'm just on the team. And immediately I began to see that there were many people dismissing the great leadership teaching because they thought it didn't apply to them because they didn't have a leadership title or a leadership position. Wow, well, if you've heard me talk, you know that I say that the position doesn't make the leader makes the position. So when I wrote this book, I wrote it for a person that's in the middle of the pack. Hey, follow me, I'm right behind you. I remember sitting down with...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?